Welcome back across Nevada to Face to Face. In a little while, we're going to read some of your feedback on recent programs. Some great stuff as always, so stick around for that. But first, we're talking about Barry Ellsworth. He's mad as hell, and he doesn't want Shelley Berkeley in Congress anymore. And he's come on Face to Face to talk about his candidacy. All right. You are an expert in this area. You've talked about the financial industry. You want to go back to Washington and fix it. You say you'll propose legislation to correct the financial industry. This is from Barry Ellsworth for U.S. Senate. The legislation would also create sensible, fair mortgage regulation. If we would have had prudent regulation in the mortgage business, we would have never had the housing bubble or its collapse. It's in many ways the root of this entire financial crisis. Yeah. It's been essentially acute right here in Nevada, as you know. You've lived here for a while now. We're up here. Now we're down here. What, 70–80% of people here are underwater on their homes. The question is, where do you draw the line between too much regulation and not enough regulation? How do you fix it?
It's simple. There's good regulation and there's bad, okay? Sensible mortgage regulation would have stopped the housing bubble if you simply had to put down 10%. The bank actually had to pick up the phone and call your employer to see if you had a job, and that would have stopped it. But what we had were what they called the liar loans. I had a friend that I did yoga with. Eddie got me doing this Bikram's yoga. She was 29 years old and owned 13 homes, all owner-occupied supposedly, okay? Because Wall Street wanted to package these mortgages, which I think was illegal, and then they're selling them as AAA securities, even under the Commodities Act. That security.
I read
fraud.
The Big Short. I know what happened. But let me ask you a serious question. If you're really going to run and you're going to go out there into this community, you're going to run into people saying, "What are you going to do for me now? My house is underwater. I can't get any money out of it. The banks won't sit down with me. They have that state system, but the banks aren't cooperating. What are you going to do to help them?"
What I want to do first thing is reinstate Glass-Steagall. Okay, we bailed out the banks, and there are people. Dylan Ratigan has people on that he says that this was the biggest theft that's ever taken place, but the banks are stealing it.
But you can't unring the bell on that. You know that. I mean, you're not that naive. You can't be.
If you're in the Senate and the House, okay, one thing I can do really well is convince people that there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. And I think the problem we've got with a lot of the people back in Washington, the only thing they've ever done is run for or be in office. They don't know how business works at all. And they listen to people come in, and all they've done is screw up this country.
What don't they know they should know?
Mortgage regulation. Anybody that doesn't have the common sense to say that we should do liar loans, that's predatory as it can be. It's not right. You go to a person that's low income and you say, just tell whatever you want. You can have this brand new house. They think their dream come true.
Where do you draw the line? I mean, do you think, Mr. Ellsworth, you should force the banks somehow to do principal reductions on people who are hurting now? Do you think you should?
Why not? They don't take a loss. They can short sell it. They're getting covered from the FDIC. The deals that our members of Congress have given the big banks, they screw the middle class every chance they get, and they say they fight for them. You go look at what they vote. When they vote and it's time for a really important piece of legislation, they always side with the big banks. They always side with the money because they're funding their campaigns.
You sound like you sprung from the Occupy Wall Street movement to some extent, some similar rhetoric. Do you align yourself with them?
I understand what they're saying. In this country, in my opinion, Congress is allowing the executives of GE, of ExxonMobil, they didn't create those companies. In most cases, they don't even own a single share, and they are stealing them blind. The CEO of United Healthcare, 2009, he took $102 million in 1 year in bonus and salary. That's a public company. That's theft.
Would you have voted for the healthcare reform bill?
No, not the way it was.
Why not?
Because all it does is force everybody to buy insurance from the 3 healthcare companies. How many claims did he have to deny, and how many people had to die for him to take home $102 million in 1 year?
I hope to have you back in the program. We only have about a minute and a half left now. Convince me you're serious. And listen, you must know something about politics and the realities of the situation.
I do.
No one's going to give you money. All right, so you're going to have to spend your money. I mean, people might send you small donations. And you and I had this conversation before. Now I've seen fantastic amounts thrown around in the paper. Do you really have enough money to finance your campaign against Shelley Berkeley?
I've got enough money that I can go this far, okay? if people,
How much are you willing to spend? Be specific.
I'll spend 2 or 3 if I have to.
$2 or $3 million? You have that much money?
Last time I looked, I did.
You did, and you're really willing to spend that much money on what obviously.
I don't want to spend, no, there's part of this, okay? If people out there are not angry enough to support someone like me, okay? I'm putting my neck out here because I've got 2 little kids, and I don't want them to be raised in a country that is a mess, and the mess that it's getting in, and it's just keeping deeper and deeper and deeper, okay? If people aren't angry enough to wake up and support somebody like me to get the incumbents out, I don't know what else has to happen. Do they have to, their home goes to 0? Everybody loses their jobs?
Well, we appreciate your willingness to come on the program. I wish you the best luck. I hope you'll come back if you stay in the race and debate Shelley Berkeley right here. I bet you'd do that, wouldn't you?
I'd love to do it.
All right.
And I'd also like to say, anybody listening, go to the website and read the letter.
You already said the website. They can
contribute.
All right. Barry Ellsworth, pleasure having you on the program.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
very
coming
much.
on.
Thanks, John.
All right.
Thanks.
And when we come back, your feedback right here on the air. Thank you.